as soon as you put him out of position, he doesn't know how to get back. This old man trying to struggle back to his position. So I don't think he's as much of a concern to me as Wraith King, Lake King, together with the Beastmaster, because TA doesn't do well against this hero traditionally.
That is true. I'm thinking more about like the tempo. Right? This Necrophos doesn't look like it's going to be shut down too early in the laning phase.
No, I agree with you there.
Travels are going to be all over the place. Josh calling it out. New versus old with a passer on. Sheesh! Gotta give emotion, Alvo.
Has that made it to Philippines? I have never heard that outside of America.
It has Yeah. You're feeling it now, Alvo.
How old are you again, John? Are you a Zoomer, technically?
I'm 30 years old. No, I am what now they would classify as boomers, right? Anyone that's old.
I swear, John, whenever I look at you, you're like an 18-year-old, but that his dad dressed. But I always thought that you were very, very young.
Well, to be fair, I never really pick my clothes, so you're not wrong about dad dress. Well, it's my mom dress, but you know, it is what it is.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect Miss John. X-Fire. Sorry, Miss X-Fire, I suppose. That's your last name, of course. Yeah. Let's see this Bounty Rune clash, which Talon seems more keen on taking. Not sure who has the advantage here on the spells. Okay, well, if Q misses his, that's going to be a little advantage over to Talon. Our opponent takes the wrong route home, and because of this Hawk, he is going to die to Jabs, who also steals the rune. Not equalizing those to the runes because they planned this on... They did plan this on Talon, yes. Okay, just double check. And they knew the Broodmother would be able to just ignore this because Broodmother level 1 is a terrible hero.
That it is, and a nice little first blood bonus for Jabs does. You know, add the gold pockets a little bit more, taking a look at that mid lane matchup. Necrophos versus Earth Spirit. And that's all I have to say about that. There's really not. He's gonna spam his Q. Yo is gonna spam the Boulder Smash. He's gonna cop a lot of HP damage, and Yo is not gonna have fun. He's gonna try to go back. Let me tell you what will happen. He'll go back for the 3-minute bounty rune. He'll top up. He'll have bottle by then. He'll lose his HP again. He'll hang around, wait for the 4-minute rune. That's it. That's all gameplay. We don't need to look back at mid. We can look up.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, Necrophos has always been this binary hero, right? Like, he either wins his matchup and destroys it like you described, or he loses it and can't do much about it. There's no gameplay element to him. You pretty much go to lane, you spam Q, you're like the old Bristol back to a degree. And that's it. We'll look at the top lane a little bit. We've discussed a lot about this TA potential matchups here. Oh, that was a really, really good dead shot here. Catching Ponyo, putting him back in. The Hawk should not need it, actually. It roots Akashi instead to get a little bit extra harassment. But they already got the kill on the Ancient Apparition.
Yeah, this lane's rough for Akashi to kind of deal with. You've got good ways of dealing with Refraction. You start with Meld. You can't really go in for the double Meld onto Jabs. He's got some good spacing held up here by Q. So you're not able to try to harass back. Your AA partnership as well. It's not the ideal AA lane as a support.
Love it.
Yeah, you can't use your cold feet to try to entrap someone to try to go for a kill. So you're basically poking, and it doesn't. You don't win the pokes when Deadshot's a factor.
There's literally zero synergy between these two heroes in the lane. There's nothing they get to do together at all. AA has to set up his own cold feet. And Akashi is suffering from this. Look at the silence. The Hawk will root again. Akashi stuck. Meld does not avoid the hit from the Hawk, and that's going to kill him off. Very tough to deal with Mortis the Calling, because inside you can't really hit, outside you get hurt. There's just a loss no matter what. And silence, of course.
Yeah, that's the only synergy they have. They're both going to be dying if they're not too careful with this. The bot lane is maybe a little bit more active for Talon. I mean, you've got the Grimstroke along with the Broodmother, Jokam, and WS having to deal with 23, and with Ollie on that Wraith King and the Phoenix. It's always funny to see Savage back in the Wraith King. Takes you back to the old T1 days, which is further back in the Talon days, of course.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Specializes in. He's not queuing up the arm, just going for the Blade Mail Radiance, so going for a basically older Wraith King build, which is what's in meta right now. WS is not dominating this lane as much as you normally see him do. Up against Wraith King is a taller order, but this is a really strong start for Aurora on bot. Like Savage, it will just farm up a storm. That's something that Wraith King does. After a few levels with the skeletons up, all the camps are going to get cleared out, your towers will be pressured in, and WS needs to kind of just ride it out, try to hit his level 5, level 6, I suppose, to try to have some gameplay here.
It's a tough lane to deal with with a Phoenix existing like this. The moment he stops your attack speed as Broodmother, you don't feel like you do much in lane. Obviously, like you said, until level 6, and then it's just kind of over. The Inkstroll combo is nice. Grimstroke is definitely one of the most important supports right now, but you don't have anyone to really use it with. As he tries here with a Broodmother to save himself, he's gonna have to pop it. It's not gonna work. He dies immediately, and there you go. As I just said, there is no combo here either. You mentioned this in the draft. The synergy for lanes for Talon is pretty much non-existent. They're playing for the mid game, they're playing for tempo, sure. But how do they make up for these lanes?
They just have to ride them out. I think this is something that
Alright.
Talon has done in a lot of their games. Their lane phase isn't normally as atrocious as 4-0. So Talon is doing a great job. Aurora is doing a fantastic job in that front. But the way Talon gets back into this is usually off the back of Yoe. At least what we've seen from the qualifiers. Yoe, once he hits 6, if he manages to get that first power rune, he's going to roll onto a lane, usually WS's lane, and try to find a kill there and constantly apply pressure. And that's what we need to see from Talon. Hold out on the Storm, weather through it, and try to get those levels up to start getting some plays, at least from the mid into the side lanes.
If this prophecy completes itself, John, what do you think would be the plan from Aurora to be able to make up for it? To be able to stop them from ever accomplishing that mid-game? Or do you think they don't even care because they just want to take it to late?
They can care. I think the one thing is just bring Armella in every time he has Reaper Sight. If he doesn't have Sight, let the support die. It doesn't matter. Just go back to it. You know, you're going to be able to clear out the camp much more efficiently. You will just have to watch out for one thing. I think the level 6 of WS is maybe going to be an issue if the Spiderlings start to invade that jungle, and he's already digging into that bot jungle a fair bit. Not too badly, but again, it gets worse as the spider grows bigger, as Mike knows, it's an Australian. So that's the one thing they'll have to watch out for, too much space to WS. Beyond that, if Yoa is only finding supports, if you play a little bit more defensively on your cores, then you really don't care. And then Armel maybe gets a couple of free Reaper Sight kills. Speaking of, he does have level 6 on that Necrophos up. And if Yoa could just cops a couple of death pulses down, he's an easy Reaper Sight target. He's not careful. But this...
Oh. Yeah, there we go. Very easy Reaper Sight target. He has been hitting some really nice dead shots here, but it's like we said, this matchup is kind of impossible. 23 last hits to 46, literally doubling his last hits, and now be able to take a tower with this. Without your Space Creator mid, someone else will have to take up that role. You just talked about shoving lanes. That might be the only option they really have.
Yeah, but you're not set up for it yet. You're still a ways off from WS hitting 6. You're nowhere near having some presence here for Akashi. Still at 5, of course, going to work onto Dragonlance Desolator. It's the timing. And with a mid lane con for Yoa, he does not have play. This is great from Aurora, just camping mid, ensuring momentum never comes in for Talon. This is one of the worst conditions for Talon. If Yoa doesn't have a game, if he can't rotate, everything else falls apart. And Aurora are certainly making that happen here.
Yeah. And Talon, all they can do at least is take up over this top space that they've acquired for themselves, and at least Q is rotating. Ponyo will be able to steal this Wisdom Rune, so that's a very small victory, but a victory nonetheless, right? Oh, Q is running towards it.
Ponyo's been pretty on point with stealing this Sentiment Rune every single time. He should be able to get away with it. Dead shot, though?
I don't know, yeah, dead shot might kill. Oh, he got it! Q takes the rune, and he's gonna take Ponyo's life at this rate as well. They missed the axis, that's not gonna be enough damage. It was only level 1 anyway. But they lost the rune, so it's a loss for Ponyo. Look at him. He's actually contemplating life for a while. Oh, he's walking out. He's so distracted, he's so dizzy. His only purpose in life, not completed.
On his way out, too. He wants to head back to that lane really fast. He's just rushing down. He knows that with one support down, it's very easy for Akashi to just fall up top. Not that he really does too much for you here. 5 Aurora, very clean to start off for the Talon lineup. They are gunning for that top tier 1 now with a good creep army coming in from Jabs, already having that Dominator up. So they can get to town. They are grouping up bot now as well, having that spawn Spiderlings up. So they will trade map space away. Akashi will have to watch himself. As if they manage to get forward vision, this is also something that Talon, current Talon, has shown a week before. A forward ward by the cliff area in the middle of the lane. That little warding spot right by the pool up top. Akashi's been caught out there multiple times. If Aurora just gets some forward vision, it should be very easy to use and hunt down the TA.
I see. And then where do you where do you farm if that's not the place? Do they have to just constantly deward and fight it? Is that even an option for Talon here?
I think what we normally see is Akashi usually joins in for a bot fight, but TA is
Okay.
way too slow paced for him to go for
Yes.
that right now. He has no items, not even a Dragon Lance. If he had a Dragon Lance, maybe he groups up bot and takes some of that map space himself. Right now, he's just gonna have to stay up top, hope that Talon, the rest of Talon, can make space and force Aurora to his bot or mid, and go from there. We are at the point where Yoa does have the urn, not the full Spirit Vessel, but if he finds the support pick off now, this is when he starts rolling with those kills. He has the Arcane bottled up, he's just waiting for that opportunity.
Here's a question since you mentioned the Dragonlance on TA. What do you think is the right build? He's going for Dragonlance in the end, right? But when your game is a little bit difficult, are you trying to get Dragonlance to get activated as soon as possible? Should you go for bigger items? What is your opinion here, John?
I think you normally still go, ideally, Dragonlance Deso. I think before, like maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, you used to see Dragonlance Blink.
Yes.
Even back then, I wasn't a fan. I felt like it's just not enough. TA's super squishy when she commits. Roll out from Yoda on mid, though.
That meant nothing. Inkswell as well, and Yo is like, please, please don't attack me. No. The Inkswell pops onto Ollie, who's forced to retreat now. He's even gonna get cold-footed. Or cold-winged, I suppose.
Yeah. He has feet too.
Does Phoenix have feet?
They have
He does.
talons. Funny. Yeah,
Oh,
talon
right.
lion.
Right, that makes sense. Oh, so this is a message from Ollie that he wants to go back to his org. I see, John. A lot of drama here, huh?
Perhaps.
Armel, by the... Armel just takes over the lane because he's already Necrophos. He knows he can't get killed. And-
Yes, Trav. He's already the Vit booster into the heart.
Oh my god.
You were talking about that null fire timing, Avo. It's a pipe.
Yeah, who cares?
It's not gonna
It's
last for at least 20 minutes.
I'm so sorry I even mentioned that. I was like, oh, but they'll do okay in the lanes, but I just didn't see the lanes being this bad. I mean, 23's even fighting himself like, as a blade mail. He would be okay with taking fights, but there's no need for him to do so whatsoever.
No, just sit back, farm, hit that Radiance blade mail to the point where no one wants to touch you. Q
Yeah.
has the Invis. They had a sense, an inkling that he was there. They had some sentry vision, but just a little bit too far out now. No play for Talon. 5-0. 2K lead for X Talon, Aurora. And then this is one thing that old Talon used to do efficiently is just work the map. Farm, sit back, build up this lead, and once you have your items up, you just go for it. You are seeing WS starting to get some vision out, but not much this Broodmother can really do at this point just yet. Just while playing less greedy, already going for the level in the reincarnation despite not getting too much laning pressure bot, which I do appreciate. I think, you know, just if you're playing close to Tower Stone, you might as well pick it up just in case you get ganked, your team can be in. So it's not no value lost really. And I mean, Talon, they're trying to farm up as well, but you've got an Earth Spirit clearing out camps, stacks. It's not great.
Yeah. I also think on the level of reincarnation that when you're up against teams, I mean, TA aside, that has just a bunch of... There's not really much burst from this team, right? Unless the Spiderlings like swarm you and you're in a really bad position, that would Blade Mail and the extra armor. The chance of you being burst down by an Earth Spirit and a Broodmother are not very high. So it'll help you for a while and eventually kill you. But Reincarnation is great against those kind of lineups. There's no surprise pop in a bad position. You'll probably be able to reposition yourself and Armel will TP onto one of your skellies. If possible.
Yeah. It's just that I guess Savage just shows some respect, you know, doesn't want to think about it too hard. Double damage being found. Well, I mean, it's just classic X-Talon gameplay, and this is classic, I guess, Aurora gameplay now.
Yeah, it's
although
Aurora.
normally you'd see maybe more.
Well, this team is
activity
Armel, it's a complete different team. I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
exactly. You see some activity from the Plato hero. In this case, Armel. I mean, you can't fault the guy playing Necrophos. What do you really expect him to do until Hearts up? Not much. Maybe if he had Death Seeker, he could Death Seeker forward for whatever reason, I suppose.
I'm glad that you're hyping this hero up. It really is. He just needs to exist, right? If he breathes, that's already good.
That's the worst part. I have a friend, and he was like 8 more. He was probably the top 1 Necrophos player in the world, if not top 3.
Sure.
And he taught me everything about Necrophos, and I hate the hero. I mean, he tells me, yeah, you know, it's boring, but it's so good. I'm like, you're a boring person, Zhong. But yes, shout out to him.
John.
Zhong.
For a second, I thought you were doing a bit on your name,
No.
John.
No, he is also a John. No, that's the sad thing. Very common out. No.
Okay. My name is also also common, but not among English speakers, sadly. So I never get to say this phrase. I'm sorry, John.
It doesn't matter. It's unique for us.
That's true.
What does it matter? It's unique
That's true.
another area.
I agree with you with some of these heroes. I mean, I don't know. When Alk was meta, for example, I had a lot of people that would say that, like, I would go and say, oh, this guy's a really good Alk, right? And pro players would correct me and be like, well, he's playing Alk. It's not a, you can't be good at Alk. The heroes are stupid, right? And that'd be their answer. I do feel like Necrophos might fall into that same category where the complexity escapes us, or the complexity might be more along the fundamentals, right? Not perhaps the skill set. He's having a ready to take this, by the way. He's close to his tower. They're actually setting up for a bait here, and they realize, but maybe a bit too late. Yeah, Yoe, he's been blocked. He's been Reaper Scythed. The Ice Blast hits Wraith King, who is ready to die. Hoping to slow down Ponyo, and he'll succeed. Do we have a dead shot? Yes, we do. That's going to be enough to cancel this TP. Ponyo still trying to run away, but this poor Ancient Apparition is going to melt like an ice cone in the sun.
Great job out from Aurora. Talon just looking for an opening. Savage is not it. Again, he levels up Reincarnation very early. He's sticking to this bot lane. They still have the tier 2. They still have control in this area despite all the webbing. And this Broodmother can drop your HP down fast, even with just the Echo Saber, but enough. And again, Aurora staying at 7-0. Talon not finding any openings. They're getting space out for Akashi. He does have the Mithril Hammers up, and that is the Deso coming in now for the TA. And all things considered, despite this 4K lead, Akashi and WS are still keeping up in net worth. Most of this differential is from Yoa lagging behind by about 2K from the pack. Right?
Yeah,
and a little bit more in that worth.
Right, that's the point, right? And Talon, that's always scary because their supports are actually carries because they're from C, of course, right? And Q has a Midas already. So I don't think this differential is enough. Q, oh, that's a really interesting TP, but he forgot about Rolling Boulder, who's a 4-second cooldown. Q? Sure. Huh? That's why you buy Midas on supports, guys. Because you can die and it's fine. It's all good. You'll still recover.
You can give the enemy 100% increase in their... an infinite increase in the kill number. You know? It's not a
okay.
Yeah, it's just an infinite increase for Talon from 0 to 1. And you can't quantify that.
Oh, that's very true, actually. You're very right. I wasn't even getting the math joke here. That is really sad, actually. A single kill. It's an Amuerta farming on your side of the map. Oof.
Trying to be cheeky with a spider in place as well. That's one thing that, for me, is a signature of some Mongolian teams. Old Little Gun comes to mind with Kishka and 11, which is like Grimstroke, Lycan, Grimstroke, Brood would be some things they love. Not gonna be able to think, but that is one, I guess, cheeky play you could try with a Spider Links, but I'm grasping at straws like Talon is. Aurora, they're grasping on. Into the pit they go, which is not good news for Talon. They have this fresh Deso. They have to take a fight into pit, but they can't fight.
I mean, they definitely... Oh, wait, there's going to be a TP here. Really? Talon wants to fight this. And Aurora, they seem to respect him. There's a lot of spiders coming in. There's the smoke. Aurora might be baiting this. There's only skeletons in the pit. Where's the big skeleton, says Talon. They're going to just hide in the high ground as Armel comes back in. He doesn't fear death because he is death himself. The Hawk distracting Roshan. And they finally find Akashi. Melts up, hits 23 Savage, Refractions both are gone, but due to a double silence and the Phoenix gets uses Egg. That's Phoenix dead, and now it's gonna be a Rose on the retreat. The Big Guns are trying to kill off Yoe, but he's too tanky and jabs will fall to the Broodmother, who thanks to the BKB is invulnerable right now. Armel does at least get a kill onto Akashi with a Reaper Scythe, and in fact, he's healing a lot. They're still trying to kill him down, and they will succeed with WS being the true carry of this fight. They're ignoring Savage. They know his reincarnation. They'd rather go for Q because she might be Muerta, but she is now dead. 23 Savage, the only man alive with 2 lives, in fact, is trying to get something out of this team fight. Jokam is that something slowed down by the boar, but they're stunning him pretty well. Jokam though still dying to the boar alone, and the roll does clear some of the skeletons. Wraith King will die in addition to saving Jokam's life. Talon did a really good job here. The real Talon, the present Talon, current Talon.
They take a full team wipe off the back of that. It looked terrible to start off with. The positioning looks awkward. Aurora gets a good read and backs off. But then WS just runs forward. And again, this is something consistent that we've seen from New Talon. WS just is a beast in the offline. I think that's a one big boon for Talon. He has done an incredible job. Opens up Roche. Now they get a couple of charges from Deso. They get up. And this is exactly what you'd want with a TA. We talked about them missing this time. Well, now you have that secondary life. Reaper is down. Reincarnation is down. They could look for something if they wanted to, but Aurora are I'm backing off for that smoke. Don't want to tempt fate too hard.
I also want to highlight Jokam's performance in that team fight. I think he saved the team fight completely. The soulbind into double silence. I mean, the silence on Red King is whatever, but the Phoenix, right? Getting the Phoenix there was incredibly good. And it's also, even though Red King doesn't care about the Phantom's Embrace, he does care about the soulbind because he's a hero that kind of wants to go in. He was in a really awkward position where he couldn't really hit. It was kind of perfect, honestly. Really, really well played here by Jokam. Star player to me of that team fight. Even lives at the end, that he was being hunted by so many boars and skeletons.
And that's one thing with Talon. They love playing on edge. Yoas sometimes just plays like a madman, like he's indestructible on the Earth Spirit. Not in this game just yet, but once he has the BKB up, I'm sure that confidence will come roaring for him. 9-6, very nice.
Oh, roaring, yes.
Yes, roaring.
Yes,
Lucky 1K lead for Talon, as Aurora aren't able to grasp their talents around Talon right now.
Very well done, very well done. And of course, you're only referring to the Phoenix here, because he's the only one that can do this.
I like to imagine that underneath Necrophos's outfit, because he has a hat that makes him have a pigeon head or something.
That's true. Yeah. A bird. Yeah, it's true. Necrophos is half bird. That is part of the lore.
I like to imagine he has like little talons down there too, little claws, just because it looks dumb, like Skyrat Mage but in the ground.
I forgot Skyrat Mage also has claws.
Yeah. And because if you had to walk, you'd have to look at those damn feet.
Yeah. But the question is, how would they taste, right? How would Necrophos taste? What is Necrophos' feet like? What kind of sauce would you pair it with? Those are questions for another game, because Q is dying right now, John, and nobody cares about this tangent. Let's go watch the bottom tower go down instead.
Yeah, nice little pickup again onto Q. 322 gold. You rarely see that one, plus 327. A very auspicious number as well for Talon to find here. 9-7, 2K lead coming out their way. And this is the point of the game which we were talking about that Talon needed to hit. This sort of mid-game between 20 to 25 to 30 minutes where they can start to take more of the map away. They can start to play with the suppressants. They've got the early BKB on WS. They're starting to get a whole lot more rolling on Akashi. He's got the blink. He's got the bottled up double damage rune. So you can look to force the fight. The age is still up for 2.5 minutes. WS just left alone to clear out the tier 2 bot. No one wants to deal with the spiders for good reason. It's just not what you want.
Scary.
Even without the Orchid or anything to pin you down, it's just so much output when WS just turns on that insatiable hunger. So just let him control that area. You are still farming here on Aurora. You've got your outpost to take, your Tormentor to take, and they will get the shard out for Q, which is nice on what is basically a semi-core Muerta. If you manage to use your Pierce the Veil here nicely, ideally level 2 Pierce the Veil starts to feel really good. Then he can scale up.
Item though, or like at least one damage item, or is it fine to just go with what you currently have?
You go in there and someone dies around you, you're pretty happy, you know. So it's all right as long as he pops it offensively, and his team cleans up for him. Starts to stack up that spell lifesteal. Sooner or later, it's going to be hard to deal with Q as well. Just purely off of how much you can lifesteal with Gunston.
Oh, they're compensating kill on Rail. Here's where the AA comes to play. They have a nullifier as well, by the way, on WS. We talked about this, John. You didn't believe me. 21-minute nullifier for WS. Very impressive.
Yeah, it looks good. I will correct you, Avo. You did say
TA, but you know who remembers that. The point is, there's a nullifier, John. That's what matters. And then also TA with double damage. And a TA that wants to kill Jabs, and with a Hurricane Pike might just succeed. That Spirit Vessel's still taking it down. They don't get in the range of the Supernova, so they're not completely committing. Yoa now feeling invincible. BKB activated by Jabs. The Spiders are still following after him. Is the physical damage going to be enough? They heal him with Sunray. Jabs, run for your life. He makes it back home. But WS, you're in the wrong house, my friend. He activates BKB himself, tries to go through, and will succeed at getting away without any stunts to stop him. Nobody is dying today, John. Oh, Q is. Sorry, I lied.
That's a bit unhinged from WS, but again, we've also seen you Talon be mildly unhinged with some behind tier 3s while tier 2s stand all the way almost up to the fountain there this time around for Talon. Pays off, forcing out that egg, forcing out the roar, not the longest cooldown, but forcing out the BKBs is also a pretty nice touch, as they'll still find 23.
Armel... Silenced already. Savage also slowed down, and they retreat successfully. Talon, as unhinged as they look, as unhinged as they act, John, have escape plans constantly.
That they do. They are highly mobile, at the very least, mainly on Yowie, but this blinking TA can't be underestimated. Of course, he can't melt through refraction. Akashi will just solo clear the Tormentor for his team. Does look like getting melts off. There you go. Free shard for Ponyo. That's massive. You know, okay, Oppo, this is one thing. You know, a pet peeve while Mike's not here. Every time I tell Mike that AA shard is great. You know, before AA was meta, when I used to say AA would be a decent
It's
lane,
amazing. Who says it's
he would
bad?
tell me, oh, you have AA shard, you wanted someone else. It's like, no, AA shard's insane. It's a free long-range stun. And you
It
get
is
it
insane.
for you know.
What
on
what is his argument?
I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about. All I know, he said, really over this shard. I'm like, yeah, rather have the AA shard. Really? Okay.
Okay. Maybe it's because Australians don't know what cold feels like, right? So you might not know what freezing is. I don't know. That's my argument. Jabs. The Ice Blast will hit. And look at the AA shot coming to play. Oh! What the cold-footed deletion. That did nothing, but we hyped it up for a second. They did waste a lot of ultimates, however. And now the cold feet does hit Jabs. And Jabs will die. As the egg has been utilized. Yowie not afraid. Actually avoids the stun with a rolling boulder. That was incredible. Still going in with Inkswell. Gets the stun of Inkswell thanks to Jokam's quick fingers, triggering it early. There's a lot of flashy plays happening, John, but no actual purpose to any of it. This is the most Southeast Asian fight I've seen all day.
It's all about style, you know. Yoa likes running in, kicking something back. Oh!
If they lose, oh wait. 23 Savage still has Radiance and still has Reincarnation, so you don't really want to just engage him. Akashi does. Are they just taking turns going in? That's what they are. Yep, that's it.
That 2 misses in a row. 3 plus 1. 2, 1 hit, and then 1 more miss. Like poor Akashi. That Radiance is not doing him any favors in trying to get some poke damage out here. I'm wondering if that will frustrate him to the point where he'll go for something to bypass the mischance. We shall see. 9 to 10. 9k lead though for Talon coming out. Despite no one dying, they are starting to work that map. WS is taking over bot. Akashi's going everywhere else, and Yo is just on the hunt constantly now.
Yeah.
So it's Aurora that feels like they kind of need more to roll in. You know, Savage wants that BKB, should help him stand up front. Now we are truly in unhinged territory with Ponyo picking up the late Midas, which I love to see as
Okay.
on
Why?
CA, if he works into an Ags. If this game goes damn long, which we're hoping it won't,
No.
if it goes damn long,
I
AA
don't
Ags,
agree with that one.
that's it. It does.
Armel. Yeah, easily come on the Ice Blast. It's not doing much, John. I'm actually on Mike's side a little bit, but they still can him, thanks to Yoen mainly. 23 Savage, tired of Ponyo, gets the kill. That's all he wanted. Avenging his teammate, who Armel is not having a really good game. Maybe they should have been more afraid of the Ancient Apparition. Honestly. He's kind of getting destroyed by it.
Yeah, Ponyo's been on point with his shots. To be fair, it's not the hardest thing in the world if you manage to get the bigger blast going from a distance, but he has been managed to land it still for his team. The side of Aurora, I mean, again, it does feel like they need these initial BKBs. It's funny that I see Savage queuing up BKB. You already have the BKB on Japs. You don't want to go BKB necessarily Necrophorus. And Q is going for BKB. So, again, this Muerta trying to go into the core. Hasn't built up Pierce the Veil stacks just yet from the Shard, which is unfortunate, but they haven't really found too many kills in these wider engagements just yet. Talon, I mean, it starts to reach that point, though, once you approach maybe 30 to 35, where you get that BKB up, you get the AC up in 23. With the AC in particular, you start to wonder whether or not your TA can actually cover this for you.
Right.
And Akashi's picked up basically 2 defensive items in the Hurricane Pike now, along with Lincoln's trying to go for his own Nullifier next. There's no big crits, there's no big damage coming in. So, at the moment you get that AC for 23, it starts to feel dicey. That tends to be the low points for TAs scaling up.
You don't think there's a concern of the fact that he's been getting kited consistently every single team fight, and they're arming themselves with force stance? How do you, because is there a solution to that? Because that's really what's winning Talon the fights, right? They're just kind of ignoring Savage.
It's true enough. I think the main reason as well is that Savage can't run around because he doesn't have the BKB. Maybe that's enough to fix that. And I think the key thing is to rip up the backline, which they could here.
Is he ripping up the backline, or is he getting ripped up? Oh no, he's the one doing everything. You were totally right. WS also comes with him as well, but WS has been stunned now. However, Armel has been killed. 23 Savage will lose his life soon enough, but they don't really care to trigger it, actually. That's his first life, and they know it. Mortana trying to be the carry here, Q, trying to kill off the enemy supports, but he's leaving his carry to die. And Savage, still kited, gets one hit in, he misses it, and they finish him off, with Q being an afterthought for this team. Talon is showcasing money does not buy skill.
That is a very good point, Avo. You know, they bring in what, again, a lot of people would discount this stack as a downgrade, just direct downgrade. Well, guess what? New Talon versus old Talon. New Talon is 17k up, 10 to 15, and Aurora are struggling. They're the ones that spoke out. If they went left instead, if they didn't run into Yoe, caught out that AA and the Grimstroke, these fights would go differently. The biggest issue right now for Aurora, it does feel like that initiation just isn't there. I mean, you have the blink on Armel, he has a shard. He could try to blink and Death Seeker forward, but it does feel like Chad to have like the blink. It sounds so dumb. That's the dumbest way to start fights. You do not want to do that, but they have no one else. No, until this blink on Jabs is done, which in 100 gold it will be.
Yeah.
But then you blink in and you only have this Necrophos that can jump in with you. Yeah. Whereas for Talon, they have all this movement speed from the spider. She just drops a web, she'll run forward, keep up with Yoe. You know, you have this TA with a blink, with a hurricane pike all over the place. They've taken position for Roshan now on Talon's end. Aurora, no vision in that area, not going to be able to fight in. Roche is going to fall relatively fast here for the side. And this should lead into the high ground poke. No outer towers left. Secondary life to risk on there. And once they find a couple of pickoffs onto the high ground, things go southbound. I mean, Aurora has to find this AA. Like, that's the big issue. Armel just doesn't have durability whenever that Ice Blast comes in. And Ponyo and Jokam have done a fantastic job of always setting up for each other. Right? Yes. They get the sword blind off. Armel +1. That's all they need. Hold Armel back, get the blast in, and you're cleaning up shop.
Agreed. It's been kind of wild. I think these supports are actually doing so much work for Talon. I mean, mind you, all of Talon's been very impressive, but it is usual that we see supports kind of taking a predominant role in the early game, which they didn't do at all, right? They just kind of lost it, and then taking a back foot for a while. Not the case here whatsoever. And it's a whole story. It's not just the talent versus budget talent, right? I mean, it's also the fact that, like, you have a team that is going what is against the general wisdom of the meta, playing a mid-game meta with meta heroes, of course, but a very different tempo. You're marked on the draft. That's what they've been doing the whole tournament, and it's working for them. It's very impressive. This takes a lot of guts to do.
That does. It's almost the exact opposite of Old Town, as you pointed out as well. And
yes, it is.
It's really interesting to see it. Although sometimes I've seen some games where they had to default to a slower, maybe 30 to 35 minute game. That tends to be.
Yeah, but the Talon, that's the quickest game ever, though, to the Old Town.
Exactly. To the Old Town, that's a speed run. If New Town can keep up that chasing down Armel. Looks like Yoe has a sensor out for his Lodi, or his senior at the very least, in Armel, but all the rolls amount to nothing.
Sorry, his what? Sorry, what was the first word you said?
Lodi. We Filipinos, we do a funny thing. Lodi, if you say it a lot of times, Lodi, it's idle. Flipped around. I don't know what.
Oh, we do that in Spanish too, actually. That's very interesting.
Why do we do this, Alba? Why do we do this?
I don't know, but that's a lot of the memes from South America also come from this as well. Things sound like something else, and therefore that's the new nickname. That's very interesting. That's where Yopaj comes from as well, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it for Yopaj.
It's very interesting.
How is it that Yoe is still hunting for Armel across the map and finds him?
Yoe feels no man. He fears nothing this game, and he's gonna kill him again. This is for the laning phase, he says. Wow. What a performance by this man. That's why they only pick Immerse Spirit.
It certainly seems that way. What? Is it just...
Oh my god! WS! The most courageous spider going up the high ground. Now, they do lose one of their supports, but they're ready to kill Ranking twice. 23 Savage might have gone a bit too far. Oh, no, Akash doesn't seem too committed to this. And WS, because the Aegis though, here comes Yoe, that's the initiation they needed from behind though. Jabs brings down the second support. And that's Ponyo dead as well. However, they don't need supports when there's 2 cores in your base, bringing down 23 Savage to his face.
This is just madness. Talon, they just keep going, and Aurora can't keep up with that pace. Now, their cooldowns are long if they're wanting to force these fights. Even reincarnation it's a considerable amount. And Talon Yo just goes again.
Oh my god, Yo. He sees Muerta, he targets and kills her, and Ollie dies as well, just to a meld, right? I saw one attack going that way.
Yeah, just one attack, one melt strike out.
Okay.
Melt. High ground is just going to fall apart. No outer towers left. They could go for multiple racks with the Aegis still up on WS. I thought I was going crazy. I swear to goodness, Armel had 2 staffs of wizardry. He must have sold 1. I swear to God he had 2.
I believe you,
I
John.
was very
but I don't
confused.
know. Are they gonna leave the melee racks? What? Okay, hit it. All right. That was a very weird scene. Now they're just gonna go for the tier 3 mid. 35 minutes, right on cue, like you said. Longest game for Talon, shortest game for Aurora.
That it does feel like. Mid racks default, top racks not too long in this world. Respawns are coming up. They've got the site on Armel. We haven't seen a site in what must have been 10 minutes now. That is not a good feeling for the Necrophos.
No, he's been scything himself pretty much. WS.
Yeah, though, just for the stack, I do it.
Yeah, sure. At this point, it might be his best play. Oh, okay. At least Savage knows his objective is to kill the Grimfolk, and they succeed. There's the site we talked about. Armel now will die right afterwards. As Savage now has to deal with a TA who's in a really good position. They've killed Jab as well, but at least Yoey went down. Ponyo is now being chased by Savage. The crit will finish him off as WS and Akashi both retreat. They will respect Savage's second life in Armel's buyback. Without Ancient Apparition, Armel is not that squishy.
No, they need that AA to be up every single time when they take these fights. They do defend their last set of racks here on Aurora's side. Talon getting a bloody nose off the high ground. Still have the Aegis, but set to expire. It's a perfect time to back off anyway here for WS. Likely now that we're just going to wait for the next Roshan for an opening back into the high ground for Talon. And Aurora can't afford to give that away. Full Swift Blink up and running for Akashi. Even more damage, more mobility coming out for this TA. Yoet. He already has the Octarine. He's going for the Shiva's Guard next, which I do like, as really you're dying to the physical right now of Savage. I don't know if you really care about the magical of Armel if he can't even stay alive in these fights long enough. So that's not really a concern. That, and you're not even seeing the Ags come out yet for this Necrophos, so we're not even having to deal with that 60% of current HP regen nonsense, and we're not seeing that interaction with the AA just yet, unfortunately, Avo. We'll have to learn some... Maybe later on we'll learn about that interaction.
I don't think I was right, though. I think that you were entirely right. It doesn't affect it at all, personally. That's my take, anyway. Because you don't see the number go to 0, right? It still exists. Yeah. So I think what you said makes sense. But my question now is, does Vessel reduce the number? I've never checked the number after Vessel. Oh,
I don't think it does either. Does it? I think it does, actually.
Not sure. Well, we'll fight. Oh, do we have a Vessel this game? I actually didn't even check. I don't think Talon needed a Vessel. No, they don't. Oh, they do. They have one in airsprint, of course, right? Stupid question. That's a very basic item for him.
Yep.
Now we have to check. Now I'm going to check the numbers to see if it reduces. Oh, there he goes. Okay, Armel. Oh, he didn't use the Vessel, so we're not going to find out just yet. Misses that. Okay, Yoet. Well... Does he have infinite remnants? How is he using so many rolling boulders?
He's got the Octarine and Quickening Charm, so he doesn't need to care too much.
Oh, I guess so, yeah. 12.2 second cooldown remnants. That is pretty pog, my friend.
Yeah, just doesn't stop rolling. Just keeps going for it. And Talon as well, just keeping going for it. 27k, 15 to 21 Aurora on the back foot, but maybe it starts to feel like we're playing into Aurora's game, into Talon's playstyle, the longer game, holding out the high ground, looking for these openings, looking for these weaknesses in execution. That is certainly something that Aurora can look for here in Talon.
Yes.
As they're biding their time, they're holding high ground, they're not giving openings to Talon to take advantage of. They got that AC up on 23, so bursting down that Wraith King, probably an impossibility at this point with all of the armor he does have on hand. And he's going for the Ags next. More than likely the Ags Blessing for 23. So even if you find that pick off onto Armel, still going to be able to get the site. He's still going to be able to trade one away. And in a one-for-one trade, I think the 4v4 looks a lot sharper for Aurora.
That's true. And to be fair, that is a big counter to this insane damage that TA is spouting now, right? Like, you just get 7 extra seconds no matter what she does. this Wraith King Axe is particularly good, and one of the things that stopped any hero that has any burst damage, because it just seems really stupid unless if you have a tank hero, it's fine, it's more consistent damage, you don't care as much, but heroes like DA suffer a lot against these extra 7 seconds. So maybe this is the key. Maybe you're right, John. Not just for Armel to live, but for Talon, sorry, for Aurora in general to live.
It's going to be a while longer until that Axe comes out for 23, though. It needs a lot more time. Fortunately, we have 2 more minutes until Roshan respawns, and Talon's not likely to dig into the high ground anytime soon until having that backing for Roche. They are still wildly growing this lead, though. Like, we're at the point where you're probably fully slotted up for Akashi. He might look to toss the power treads out with a swift link up and just go for the Daedalus, which again will mitigate some of those damage issues he has. WS probably just gonna look for a blink upgrade as well. You see Savage just farming by himself up top.
Yeah. Well, this is... they just don't believe this is the play, right? Because he's been baiting them so often that he's actually causing doubt in their minds, but the Broodmother scouts the area around him, and now they know they can go for him. But the bait was there all along. Jabs walking forward towards the Ancient Apparition. He is going to be using the Primal Roar onto Yoe, and they use the egg in the middle of this team fight. Can they break it? They do not have the time, and Akashi's forced to retreat now. This team fight's going pretty well for Aurora for now, even if they just lost Jabs. But they can't quite kill anyone just yet. Reaper Scythe, oh, it's available. Will we have time to use it? No! Again, Armel, the same story. He burst it down without using his ultimate. 23 Savage does kill Ponyo in the meantime, but who cares as long as your cores are dead, as Jazz might die a second time. The Hurting Spike is really annoying to him. From behind, Savage gets destroyed. And here, Jabs, you're being hunted by the Yo-Yo Man. You cannot stop the rolling boulder of Yoe.
That is just insane. Talon, they only lose 1. They only lose Ponyo and all of that. Akashi was so low, he was missing on the egg multiple times, maybe hitting something else.
I don't know what it was, but he wasn't hitting the egg for sure.
Gets force-stabbed, gets glimmered out. They take the last set of racks. Without the Aegis, they're going on to the tier 4s. They're looking for kills in the fountain.
I think it's it, John. I think Talon will take game number 1 here. I mean, if you cannot win a team fight where you get really close to a perfect supernova, well, at least going off, right? So at this point, that's all you can ask for. I don't think you can really win this game at all. The timing is too good for Talon. They've gotten too great. And now they're unstoppable. Aurora, they just wait patiently for their death. But they're not giving up. Probably strategizing for game number 2 to figure out what went wrong.
Maybe one last hurrah with the respawns coming in, but
yeah, hurrah, hurrah.
Double guess.
Yeah, hurrah, Phoenix is dead. I think these BKBs mark the end. WS is literally just walking around now. He's not even attacking things anymore. There you go. He wants to get the kill with Ying, so style points for Talon. GG forced out of Aurora. Hopefully they have a plan for game number 2, because this game number 1, once that 20-minute mark hit, it seemed like it was a Talon game altogether.
Yep. Aurora, again, coming into this, more than likely looking like the favorites. Maybe taking a little bit of a surprising loss.